Welcome to Object-Oriented Programming course. In previous lecture, we learned about what is an interaction diagram and we learned the details of sequence diagram. In today's lecture, we will learn the details of other three interaction diagrams, which are collaboration diagram or communication diagram, timing diagram, and communication overview diagram. Let us start with communication diagram. Communication diagram, it was earlier it was known as collaboration diagram. In UML 2.0 onwards, it is renamed as communication diagram. So both are referring to the same thing only. It's a behavior diagram. Communication diagrams are used to show how objects interact to perform the behavior of a particular use case or a part of use case. Collaboration represents the relationship and interactions among software objects. They are used to understand the object architecture within a system rather than the flow of messages as in sequence diagram. In sequence diagram, we were focusing on the flow of message, but here we are focusing on the object architecture. The message flow between the objects can be represented using a collaboration diagram. A collaboration diagram is a collection of named objects and actors along with the links connecting them. They collaborate in performing some task. A collaboration defines a set of participants and relationships that are meaningful for performing some task. Objects collaborate by communicating with one another in order to work together. Objects are able to produce high-level functionalities by working together. Collaboration diagram captures the interactions that shows the message passing between objects and their roles within a collaboration. Collaboration diagram emphasizes the structural aspects of an interaction diagram. It allows you to focus on the objects rather than focusing on the message flow as described in the sequence diagram. So, in the case of a collaboration diagram, the focus is on the communication between the objects. We are considering two aspects: structure of the objects organized in your system. In the case of sequence diagram, the focus was on the message passing only. So here two things we are considering: message passing between the objects and the structural aspects are also considered. Let us see the syntax. Its syntax is similar to that of a sequence diagram, except that the lifeline don't have tails. See, previously I mentioned object or actors. Object, actors, everything is referring to the concept of lifeline only. Here the difference is that in sequence diagram, each lifeline was having a vertical dashed line indicating the tail, lifeline tail. That was we were telling that as lifeline only. So here there is no such tail. So that is the representational difference. Each message in a collaboration diagram has a sequence number. Key notations are objects, messages, and the links between the objects. Using tools, sequence diagram can be easily converted into a collaboration diagram. So if you are developing your sequence diagram in Rational Rose or some other tools, you can easily convert that sequence diagram into a collaboration diagram. So here you can see a very simple collaboration diagram or communication diagram. So this is the process of customer's interaction with the ATM machine. Means see, you can see the first message number 1, insert ATM card. So that message is sending to the object ATM. Then ATM is actually sending first message. Then message number 2, you can see request pin. ATM is requesting pin to the user. Now message number 3, pin entered. Like that communication is represented. So objects are connected with links and there are messages. Each messages are numbered. So this is the way to represent a collaboration diagram. Let us learn the notations used to create a collaboration diagram. So first notation is object. Objects are model elements that represent the instance of a class, represented with its name and class. So that syntax is something like, in a rectangle you will represent the object, within that you will give the object name. So to give the name, yeah, that name string will look like object name colon class name. So this is the syntax to give the object name. In earlier versions before UML 2.0, this name used to be underlined. From 2.0 onwards, there is no need to underline the object name. Another representational concept is multi-object. When you have to represent more than one object of one particular class, you can use these overlapped rectangles. Within that, you can give the object name. Another notation is actors. This is very similar to the actors what we learned in use case diagram. It's an entity which acts as the invoker of the interaction. Each actor is named and has a role. One actor will be the initiator of the use case. Link. Link is the relationship among the objects across which messages can be sent. In a collaboration diagram, a link is shown as a solid line between two objects. An object interacts with or navigates to other objects through its links to these objects. So, if there has to be an interaction between two objects, there should be a link between those two objects. A link can be an instance of an association, or it can be anonymous, meaning that its association is unspecified. So the links are normally representing the association, or it can be unspecified association also. Other notation is message. A message defines a particular communication between two objects or two lifelines of an interaction. In a collaboration diagram, a message is shown as a labeled arrow placed near a link. So this is a link and this message is placed near the link and it is a arrow pointing to the receiver. The message is directed from the sender to the receiver. The association must be navigable in that direction. There has to be an association. Then only we can tell that it is navigable. And the message name must be numbered. There are a couple of other notations which are not specifically for collaboration or communication diagram. First one is constraint. This can be used in other diagrams also. A constraint is nothing but a condition or restriction expressed in natural language text, an extension mechanism to refine the semantics of a UML model element. So you can mention a condition like this in natural language. Another notation is note. Note is also a comment or some information. Note contains textual information that is represented like this. Another grouping concept is there, swimlane, where you are essentially segregating your communication diagram into different partitions. That is swimlane. We will learn the details of that concept in activity diagrams. A sample communication diagram is represented here. So this diagram, so here these rectangle boxes are nothing but the objects. Within objects you can see the links. That means these objects are navigable because there is a link. Now near the link you can see the arrow that is representing the message exchange between the objects. So this particular diagram is representing the problem what we discussed earlier, that is actually the hotel room reservation. So here window object is making a reservation, that making a reservation request is reaching the hotel chain. From the hotel chain object, that reservation request is reaching a particular hotel, selected hotel. From the hotel it is sending a self link to self message to check the room type. Then once the room type is confirmed, then it is performing the reservation. Once the reservation is completed, it is performing the notification like that. This is one communication diagram. Here let us see another communication diagram. This is the diagram what we slightly discussed in the beginning, that is the ATM interaction. Customer is interacting with the ATM machine. ATM object is internally communicating with the account object. So you can see the message number 1, insert ATM card. So that message is reaching the ATM object. In response to that, you can see message number 2, request pin. Now that message is coming back to the customer. Now from this actor, now message 3, pin entered. Again it is reaching here. Now message number 4, that pin is passed to the account. Now message number 5, pin is okay. Like that the messages are exchanged between the objects. In this particular example, here it is the this operation is nothing but transferring some amount to one person's account. So in this diagram, in this communication diagram, you can see two partitions. This is nothing but the concept of grouping the elements. I mentioned that swim lane concept. So that is used in the example. So here you can see the operation. This example is nothing but student management system. A student is logging to the student management system. You can see the number request, and this interaction is modeled in these two diagrams. Let us have a comparison between sequence diagram and collaboration diagram. Here, the problem represented in this sequence diagram is nothing but a client updating some details in a database. So here you can see this lifeline is sending a create message. Then the target lifeline or transaction lifeline is getting created. Then client is performing some operation to the transaction, lifeline transaction lifeline. In response to that, it is updating some values in the database. Two things are updated. Once the database updation is completed, once the database is committed, transaction is notifying that to the client. Then client is sending a destroy message and the lifeline is getting terminated. The same concept is represented as a communication diagram. Here three objects are saying three objects are there. There is a link between each objects and the numbered messages are mentioned between the objects. Let us see the drawbacks of a communication diagram. It can be very complex when there are too many objects. It is hard to explore each object inside the system. The state of an object changes momentarily, which makes it difficult to keep track of every single change occurs within an object of a system. So that state transitions cannot be tracked effectively. So this table summarizes the comparisons between the sequence diagram and communication. In sequence diagram, emphasis is on the time and order of events, whereas in a communication diagram, emphasis on the messages exchanged between the objects. Shows the participation effectively. Both sequence diagram and communication diagrams are showing the participants, nothing but the actors or the objects. We can represent them clearly, no issue, both are fine. Links between the participants, that means links between the objects. There is no such notation in sequence diagram, but in a communication diagram it is explicitly mentioned with the help of links. Support for asynchronous message. Yes, in sequence diagram there is a separate notation for representing asynchronous message. In communication diagram there is no such notation to represent asynchronous message. Easy to read message ordering. In a sequence diagram you can easily understand between the timelines that messages are mentioned. So that order of messages can be easily understandable in a sequence diagram, whereas in a communication diagram messages are actually present along the link between the objects, and when there are many messages, to understand the order of the message you need to check the numbering, so it is not that easy. For the creation and maintenance, collaboration diagram is easy because you can add messages or modify the messages easily compared to the sequence diagram. Next type of interaction diagram is timing diagram. As the name indicates, it is focusing on the timing of state transitions. A timing diagram is a specific behavioral modeling diagram that focuses on timing constraints and state changes to the objects. Timing diagrams are used to explore the behaviors of objects throughout a given period of time. denotes the transformation of an object from one form into another form. The flow between these software programs at various instants of time is represented using a waveform. So a timing diagram is represented like a waveform. So this is the norm syntax for a timing diagram. A timeline will be represented in a rectangle box, and here you will mention what is that object, or the timeline object name will be mentioned. Then there will be multiple states. Then the waveform will indicate the state transition, means state change from one state to another state, and between the state changes you can measure the time delay. This bottom indicates the time duration. So between these two transitions, if you check the values in the bottom, you can understand how much time it takes for that transition. Let us see this example. This particular timing diagram is indicating the concept of I should melt into the water in 1 to 6 minutes. So that is the concept what we are trying to represent as a timing diagram. So for the water H2O, for H2O there are three states. One is ice, melting state, and water. So our statement says that ice should melt into water in 1 to 6 minutes. That means for the first 1 minute there is no melting. After 1 minute your state is changing from ice to melting stage. So melting will continue for the next 6 minutes. After 6 minutes entire ice is melted into water. So that state change, state transition is mentioned as a waveform, and the duration between the two transitions will give you how much time it takes for that particular transition. So this is the concept of a timing diagram. Let us see some more examples for the timing diagram. So in a typical timing diagram, on left side lifeline name will be mentioned, then states will be mentioned. In this particular case, lifeline name is user. There are three states, and the waveform indicates the state transition. So state is starting here, and below you can see the time units. So state is from idle on event code, state is changing to wait card. Then that state is changing to wait access. Then the card out. This is that ATM example only. Once the card is out, then again it is changing back to idle. So here we can see another example. This is the example of a mail server. So our lifeline's name is mail server, and that is having three states: transmitting, authenticated, idle. And here time durations are mentioned. So from time 0 to after 3 seconds you are performing the login operation. Once the login is completed, your state is changing to authenticated. Then after t seconds, from this time to t, okay, at time t you are sending a mail. So once you trigger the send operation, your mail server state is changing to transmitting. After completing this much time duration, you can disconnect, because your transmission is done. Now you can disconnect. Then again your server will come back to the idle state. Length of a timeline to indicate how long the object remains in a particular state by reading it from the left to right. So you have to read it from left to right. So this gives you the time duration, and that is represented as duration constraint. Here you can mention the duration constraint. So see, this is a time constraint. Here you will mention the event which is causing the transition, that is called stimuli. Benefits of a timing diagram. Timing diagrams are used to represent the state of an object at a particular instance of time. It represents the effect of each event or stimuli in an object state transition. Timing diagram allows reverse as well as forward engineering. Timing diagram can be used to keep track of every change inside the system. Very much useful while developing a time critical software system, because for each transaction, for each state change, how much time delay is there. That can be clearly tracked using timing diagram. Regarding the shortcomings of a timing diagram, it is hard to maintain and understand, and the available notations are also very less. So that's all about timing diagram. Now, the last type of interaction diagram is nothing but the interaction overview diagram. It is actually a combination of two concepts, like it is a combination of your sequence diagram and the activity diagram. We haven't learned the activity diagram in detail, so I'm not going to explain much about this. Interaction overview diagram focuses on the overview of the flow of control, where the nodes are interactions or interaction use. So there can be two types of nodes, and the basic diagram is a kind of activity diagram, and the first node type is interaction. An interaction diagram of any kind may appear inline as an activity invocation. So within a fragment you can mention an activity diagram or anything. Next node type is interaction use. Interaction use is nothing but a reference to an interaction present in some other diagram. So you can very precisely mention a particular interaction diagram as a reference. A large and complex sequence diagram could be simplified with interaction uses. The other notation elements for interaction overview diagrams are same as that of activity and sequence diagrams. It shows how a set of fragments or portion of interaction might be interacted in various scenarios. Let us see one example. Here you can see interactions. So this is a kind of activity diagram. See, these syntax are initial node syntax, control flow. So this decision, all these syntax are from the activity diagram, and the nodes are, this is one activity use, that is nothing but referring to an activity or a sequence diagram present in some other diagram. Scheduled inspection main. So this is actually making a reference to that diagram, and here you can see one particular interaction within this fragment. So this is a kind of combination of your sequence diagram and activity diagram. It can convey the overview of the interaction. So these are the topics planned for the interaction diagrams. So under interaction diagram, we learned sequence diagram, collaboration or communication diagram, timing diagram, and interaction overview diagram. Thank you for watching.